A tight race was expected for Saskatchewan's most northern riding. It's a rural area and Canada's third largest riding, covering the northern half of the province. About two-thirds of its voters are Indigenous. But at the ballot box, those who voted did not pick an Indigenous candidate to represent them in Ottawa. Conservative incumbent Gary Vidal won with about 50% of the vote. He defeated Liberal candidate Buckley Belanger, a former long-time NDP MLA. Belanger received about a quarter of the vote. The NDP candidate Hermione King received around 17%. One political scientist says variables like the pandemic, Vidal's popularity as for the former mayor of Meadow Lake, and the Conservatives' approach to reconciliation may all have been the factors.
There's a kind of potential explanation that the riding is just becoming more like the rest of Saskatchewan, in which case you would expect it to start. I mean, it is a rural riding, and rural prairie ridings tend to vote Conservative.
But others say low voter turnout is why Vidal won.
When you have only 43% voting, that means you have close to 60% that didn't show up. And if the majority of the votes came from the south, then in some of those northern communities, hardly anybody voted. And that's the result of a summer election.
Cuthan says voters needed more notice. He points to the fact that Vidal got less than 10,000 voters in a constituency of 45,000. Another theory is declining enthusiasm for Justin Trudeau among Indigenous voters.
There was actually considerable Indigenous enthusiasm in 2015 for Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party. That dissipated quite a bit in 2019, and I think we're going to see that it kind of flatlined this time around.
Coates says he is hoping the boundaries will be redistributed so Indigenous issues can take center stage. Pratish Dayal, CBC News, Saskatoon.